around the Department of Defense. This is your daily news brief.
Training event postponed. I'm Mark Weeks. Defense Secretary Mark Esper and South Korea's defense minister announced they're postponing a combined flying training event that was scheduled to start this week in South Korea.
After close consultation and careful consideration, Minister Jung and I have jointly decided to postpone this month's combined flying training event. We have made this decision as an act of goodwill to contribute to an environment conducive to diplomacy and the advancement of peace.
The two are in Bangkok attending a meeting of defense ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. The secretary said he and his South Korean counterpart are encouraging North Korea to demonstrate the same goodwill when deciding on conducting training, exercises, and testing. They also encouraged North Korea to return to negotiations. Esper said the U.S. and South Korea will continue their defensive posture on the Korean Peninsula.
We will continue to ensure our combined forces on the Korean Peninsula remain at a high state of readiness. Our willingness to modify training to keep the door open to an agreement on the denuclearization of the DPRK should not be mistaken for a lack of commitment to advance and defend our shared goals, interests, and values.
Navy Vice Admiral Charles Richard took over as head of U.S. Strategic Command on Monday during a change of command ceremony at Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. At the ceremony, Admiral Richard said STRATCOM's priorities remain the same.
Do the men and women Strategic Command know that our priorities will not change? You heard General Hyten just go through them, and they are not changing on my watch. Number one, above all else, we'll provide strategic deterrence. Number two, if that fails, we will be ready to deliver a decisive response. And number three, we will provide a resilient, equipped, trained, combat-ready force.
He said the U.S. nuclear triad is the most effective way to deter adversaries from conducting strategic attacks against the U.S. and its allies, and it must be maintained.
Our competitors started upgrading their strategic capabilities many years ago. And so we have to remain focused on recapitalizing all elements of our triad. Modernizing our triad is not starting an arms race. It is avoiding unilateral disarmament in the face of the gravest threats this nation has faced in 30 years.
The outgoing STRATCOM commander is Air Force General John Hyten. In the end, the U.S. kicked off the Tri-Services India-U.S. Amphibious Exercise, or Tiger Triumph, designed to enhance military-to-military relations between the two nations. It will also hone skills in humanitarian assistance and disaster response among individuals and small units. More than 500 U.S. Marines and sailors, and about 1,200 Indian soldiers, sailors, and airmen will participate. The 9-day exercise will include visit, board, search, and seizure training. It will also include live fire drills, ship maneuvers, and landings by Indian helicopters on the flight deck of the USS Germantown. Tiger Triumph aims to build the capacity of U.S. and Indian service members while improving their ability to work together. That's your DoD News Brief. I'm Mark Weeks. You can find more stories about your military at defense.gov and by using hashtag KnowYourMil.